excellent reading month, okay? Started, I think, one of my new favorite series. So we need to talk about all the books that had me on a roller coaster ride this month, because this month was literally a ride and I loved it every single second of the month of October. Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isha. If you're new here, and if you are new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe for more videos from me. So let's jump right in to October reading wrap up. First and foremost, we already know fall is my favorite season. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the spookiness. Of course, all the books I read this month were just stellar. I loved every minute of it. So let's talk about it. I'm at my Goodreads right now. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, I'll have it linked down below. I don't really do reviews on Goodreads, but I do update like the books I'm like currently reading and have read on my Goodreads, and I just put like my rating. Let's talk about the books I read in the month of October. Let's get it. So I started October reading the Fantasy League. It was free on Kindle Unlimited, so I started reading the Fantasy League. I started it maybe at the beginning of September, and then like I read like a chapter. I was just like not in the football sports romance mindset. Put it down and I started reading it again. So I finished it this month. It was the first book I finished in the month of October. This book was cute, but it was kind of okay. We're gonna talk about it. The two main characters is Abel and Scarlett. And Abel, he's a tight end. He's a football player, and she is a chef like influencer blogger. He's his personal chef. It's a good book. I rated it 3 stars. Didn't love it. Didn't like completely hate it. It was cheesy. Basically, he was like really shy. I guess he's like intimidated by her. That's what you want to say. So like he would like be mute around her. She's his personal chef, so she would always be in his house making meals. They live across the street from each other too. What threw me about the book, first time she cooked for him, he threw away the whole meal because like he was so nervous that he couldn't eat the food. I'm not about to waste a whole meal because I'm nervous. Like, if I was him, I would have just took the meal with me. There's people out there starving. Come on, Abel. Together. I get you being shy, but like, you went a whole year talking to her and like out on a date randomly out of nowhere. Once they started fake dating, it got cute. That's just how I feel about that. This is a fake dating trope. It's also a sports romance. So the next one was Catch of the Day. So I got really into her books this month. I was just listening to like a whole bunch of her audiobooks because like they were all free on Audible. So I was like, okay, these are cute. When I'm at work, all I'm listening to all day is an audiobook. Hers were just like really entertaining to me this month. So Catch of the Day is following E and Malone, and this was like a small town romance. Everyone knows everybody's business, everything like that. It was cute. It made me cry. I was crying. I was bawling. I was not okay. I rated this book about 3.5. I love the small town vibes of it. I love like the backstory and everything like that. This book didn't really have a lot of romance in it because Malone, he's like the surly fisherman, right? But he doesn't really talk a lot in the book. You don't get to learn much about Malone at all. Maggie basically has this crush on the priest. Priest ends up like matching her up on dates, basically find a man. All her dates turn into being a disaster. Her and Malone start hooking up. Like, I don't know how she fell in love with that man because I wasn't he wasn't giving me anything. Okay, so the next one was Tough Crowd. This book I absolutely adored. It was funny, it was entertaining, it was relatable. I absolutely recommend it. I rate this one 4.5 stars. It's a single parent trope. So Abby is a comedian. She met her future boyfriend on a date that went like terribly wrong, and then they start like hanging out, and he is recently like separated from his long-time living girlfriend, 2 kids together. This book, it has a lot of funny moments. His kids played a big part in the book as well because she's learning how to like navigate a relationship with dating a man who has kids, and then she's trying to like figure out herself and her career and everything like that. So this is one of my favorite books I've read this month, and probably one of my favorite books of all time. You Again. This book right here is everything I could ever wish for in a fall romance book. Everything that you could ever wish for in a fall read is this book. I have so many things to say about this book. Like, it was excellent. I rated it 5 stars. I absolutely love this book. This book is following Arya and Josh. It's based in New York, and it's basically like when Harry met Sally retelling, immaculate vibe. And this book is over a 10-year span, following like them from being like strangers to hating each other to being somewhat friends, and then being like best friends, and then lovers, then blah. And then she's a comedian, and she's on the street trying to sell something to like people to make like a quota for the day, and he's one of the people that she tries to sell something to. He basically yells at her, and that's how like they first meet. And fast forward to that night, Arya's roommate dating Josh, and Josh shows up. He's a chef, and Josh shows up to cook her roommate a meal, and Arya is picking up her roommate at the time. Her roommate is at a restaurant, she sells drinking at his face, and then like they just keep meeting at like different points in their lives. Like the last time they meet is when they're both going through like breakups and both of their lives are like in shambles. They connect through that and they start hanging out on like having terrible life situations at the time. Both have an attraction to each each other, but they're like denying it. They're denying it. I love being able to like read about different time periods in our lives. I also read in third person. They represent two different opposite polar personalities, but it just makes sense when they're together. I just connected with both characters and both of their personalities. One of Scott's House and Not. So this one is a historical romance. It's following Madeline and Mackenzie. She's like socially awkward and she didn't want to have like coming out season. She lost her parents so she could have freedom, and say that she was engaged to a Captain Mackenzie and she was writing letters to him, and he started like receiving those letters, but like she was writing to like a fictional man in her head. It turns out he's a real man, and he pops up at her castle, basically like tells her that like they have to get married. So she told everyone she was dead, and he popped up and was like, oh, a miracle. It was really comical. I rated it 4 stars. The next one was Making It with the Grump. I rated this at about 3 stars. It was decent. Yeah, it's also a small town romance. So her TV star boyfriend, he's not really a TV star, like he started on one show and like took off, and then he was like, oh, I'm gonna break up with my long-time girlfriend even though she was supporting me for years. He broke up with her at the beginning of the book, and then she moves back to her small town, like dating Christopher. Everyone's been trying to hook her up. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. I just kind of got bored towards the end, not gonna lie. So the next one is 30-Day Engagement. Is following Emery and Bliss. Emery just got invited to her ex-girlfriend's wedding, and she basically wants to seem like her whole life is together. She needs a date to the wedding. Bliss trying to start her own plant business, and she waters plant Emery's job office. Emery gets Bliss to be her fake fiance for 30 days. Are like having to get to know each other within a short amount of time. They actually seem like they're a real couple. I did not love it, did not hate it. The next one was Forest for the Trees. Now this one I rated like 3.5 stars. It's following Forest and Sabrina, and this one's kind of like an enemies to lovers workplace romance type deal. She's a forest ranger and he's a fire marshal, and it's been like a whole bunch of fires going on in the Smoky Mountains. Basically they team up to work together, figure out where all the fires are happening, figure out who's causing the fire. That's like how they start working together. He's always had like an attraction to her and always liked her. She like couldn't stand him. Cute dog scenes, him like doing like cute little acts of service. I had she's sick, he takes care of her trope. The next one is Magnolia Parks. I finally finished Magnolia Park, and I tell you, this is a 5-star read for me. This is probably going to be one of my favorite book series. I knew this was gonna happen, and after I finished this book, I was in the biggest book slump. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? This book, the ending left me in shambles. I'm over here crying, throwing up, screaming, running. Like, hello. The book was everything to me, and I absolutely recommend it. Like, it's basically like a toxic relationship. It's following Magnolia and BJ and the Magnolia Parks universe. First from past and present, like some scenes, it explains like their love story, why they are the way they are now, and then like most of the book has fighting not to be together, but almost being together, and then not being together, and like, so basically this book had me on a roller coaster ride in the best way possible, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about the next book, because I put off reading the next book. I'm just like, I don't want my heart to be ripped out of my chest again. Reading the book, I'm like, dang, when is somebody gonna love me as much as BJ loves Magnolia, and as much as Magnolia loves BJ? Like, dang, when am I gonna have that? I want all that, minus the toxic part. So the next one was Until There Was You. This one's also a single parent trope. I rated this one 4 stars. I like this one a lot better than Catch of the Deck. It's following Posey and Liam. Posey and Liam went to high school together, and Posey's adopted. She's like really tiny. She's like, and Liam was like the popular bad boy. He worked in her parents' restaurant. He moved back to town to be closer to his daughter's grandparents because his wife just passed away recently. Posey had like the biggest crush on Liam growing up, and now he's back in town. She's not over the crush, but she doesn't like him as much as she used to like him because of something that happened when she was younger. He was like talking stuff about her. She's like trying to keep her distance away from him. I rated 4 stars. I liked he was an amazing dad. I loved how good he was with his daughter. His daughter's a teenager. So the next one was The Devilish Duke. This one called following Devin and Sophia. Sophia is like an independent woman. She didn't want to get married whatsoever, and then Devlin, great, never wanted to get married either. Like, they both had reasons to why they wanted to get married, but she basically agreed to marry him so that she could keep funding an orphanage. This book also has like a mystery twist as well. It had a lot of comedy. It had a lot of men punching each other. I rated this one 4 stars. Okay, so the next one was Coding. I really like this book. This book had me laughing, like laughing. Okay, this book was hilarious. These 2 characters, hilarious. This book is following Terrence and Crystal. This book goes from past to present. They're a divorced couple. Quick little read. I recommend it. I rated it 4.5 stars. Next one is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I rated this one 4 stars. Solid read. It was adorable. It's following Morel, I don't think I'm saying her name right, and Oz. Oz is the demon, and she accidentally summons Oz to make a soul bargain. It's like a forced proximity fake dating trope, and the whole town is like magical town. This was like a really good book to read in October, and Oz accidentally has a soul. Know how that acts. Morel's best friend's mom is trying to set up a spa in the middle of the town, in which she's gonna like mess up like the magical resources. So basically the whole book is in shambles. Next one is One Last Date. This one, I have to say I rated it like 2.5, but it's not really following Cassie and Will. So Cassie and her friends made a pact to go on one last date. So they found the perfect man that they're going to marry, and they go on a date with him, and they just basically stick it through. So she's the first one to do it, and she went on a date with this man named Parker, and her and Parker are not compatible. He's everything that she thinks she wants, but they're not compatible. Like, you read the story and you're listening, you're like, girl, like, you're making too many exceptions for this man. And Will is her co-worker and literally in love with her, and she's not understanding that he's flirting with her the whole time. He's being mean to her. It did have a lot of funny parts. Like, her dates were a disaster. A lot of parts where you're just like, girl, Parker is not the one for you, but you need to learn yourself. You just gonna have to stick it through and learn for yourself that that man is not the one for you. Was The Contract was really adorable. Well, this is the fake dating. Yeah, this is the fake dating marriage of convenience on Richard and Catherine. So Richard got passed up for a promotion at his job, so he was pissed off. He was like, I'm leaving this company. So he makes up this whole scheme to trick the other company, thinking like he's like this wholesome, he's changed his bad boy player ways, he's in love, and he's like turning into a family man. So he gets Catherine, his assistant, which he was so mean to her at the beginning, play as his wife. A lot of Fork's proximity, a lot of him actually like starting to fall in love with her, and then you see like Lisa with her, and their banter was really cute. I really enjoy a rich man falling to his knees. Basically, eat it up every time. So that was the last book that I read in the month of October. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Do that every time and always cut it out.